Good morning and welcome to The Dark Roast. I'm Donna Stroll here with the always lovely and talented Rose Short. And today's topic is that thing that gets us all, time management and prioritization. So it's time. This is the thing that we all struggle with. It doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or if you're killing it out there. Time is always chasing us, or we're always chasing it, one or the other. So most marketers aren't failing because they don't know enough. It's more about because their schedule is chaos. You're running home, you're flipping on the computer, or you're waking up early and you're trying to get stuff done, but it's just, you're bouncing between your emails and your analytics and your social media. Then you've got your content funnels and oh my God, there's a launch. And by the end of it, you feel like you've been busy all day, and then you're looking at what actually got done and you're like, why?
Or the exact opposite happens, right? You get to that point where you quit the 9 to 5, you're just focused on this, and then suddenly that 6 o'clock alarm clock becomes non-existent, and that half-hour lunch turns into an hour and a half lunch. And a lot of people shifting to that working for themselves, working from home, being accountable only to their own schedule, not being accountable to a boss, really struggle. And so both sides of the coin can be bad if you're not properly prepared.
So today, that's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to try and give you some tips and tricks that you can deal with. So your marketing time trap is one of those it's a chaotic job. You're doing all the things. You're the content person, you're the analytics person, the email person, the funnels person, then you got your social media. And if you've got any partnerships, you have to go and make sure that you're dealing with those, staying in contact, staying updated, customer support. People have complaints. Now you got to deal with that. And then you also have to do the research and the optimization. And by the end of it, you're like, and there's a lot of time that we spend on repetitive tasks instead of really working on the strategy and the growth that we're meant to do. So it's not really so much effort, because once you get your strategy and your structure in place, it's not so bad. So the goal is to get structure, right?
Yeah, this is where a lot of the AI platforms have come in, right? Where they're like, oh, we automate all those repetitive daily tasks. They're like, oh, we could automate all of this and give you back half an hour a day, 2 hours a week, or whatever it is. A reason that works so well is because that's what everyone is looking for, right? But you can still achieve that without dropping money into an AI platform, especially if you're worried about the environmental impact, things like that. And it starts, and it's going to sound really out there, and I know people are tired of hearing it, but it really starts with mindset, right? You really have to stop managing your business with a to-do list and start managing it with a calendar, right? You have to think of it as your calendar is your boss holding you accountable versus you're the boss and no one's holding you accountable. To-do lists create decision fatigue, which we've talked about before, right? And which is a very real thing, especially for our neurospicy friends, right? It's not so much for the neurotypicals, but neurospicy really struggle with decision fatigue. So you end up kind of looking at it going, oh, what do I want to do next? Do I do the next one? Do I drop down here? What do I have time for? When you have a calendar and a time block system, it eliminates that problem because you work to your schedule versus the list.
Absolutely. And even if you're somebody who wants to get everything done on the list, if you can overload your list, right? That's another thing that people do is, oh, I'm going to get all this stuff done, forgetting that they need breaks for food and existing. And then they don't get it all done. And then there's a sense of failure. Whereas if you do that time blocking with your calendar, you can see the physical time and you can block things like lunch or break. Like you do at work, you have X amount of time that you go for a break. You can do the same thing with your calendar, and a to-do list doesn't give you the space for that, right? So you're assigning your blocks for different types of work. It's really actually helpful that way. So say in the morning, you assign it for content creation. If you're working, then maybe you say, well, when you get up in the morning, you're gonna do your email and community. Right? Whatever works best for you, but you say morning content creation, midday you're doing your email and community, afternoon you're dealing with your analytics and your admin. You can fix that and switch that however you need, right? And if you have limited amount of times, maybe that's Monday you do content creation. Tuesday, you do your email and community. Friday, you do your analytics. However it's going to work for you. But this creates focus and prevents trying to multitask, trying to zip through that list and killing yourself. If you can focus on one thing at a time, then you're doing much better than trying to do it all at once. Because as much as a lot of people believe that they can multitask, we all think we can multitask, but the reality is we are splitting our brain capacity. And even the people who can look like they're doing it really well, they are putting additional stress on themselves, and things will get missed, right? Simply just because you're not focused.
And then of course, batching. We talked about that before. Just because you're putting your social media into a 30-minute time block doesn't mean that you can't get a week's worth of media done, right? Batch creation is so easy with AI, with Canva, with even Facebook and all this different social media scheduling apps. If you're focusing on content, cool, make 5 to 10 social media posts. Do 3 blog outlines to go back to and write later when you're focused strictly on blogging. Write a couple emails. Make 1 long form video that can be chopped up into 15 short form videos, all in one sitting. That's going to help with just overall accomplishment, but also your time management, because if you continue to do those things, pretty soon you're going to have a month's worth of content with very little effort, right? And so if something catastrophic goes wrong, it's fine. You're covered for that week, and then you just keep going, even though you've got all that ready to go. Switching between the tasks kind of forces the brain to reset, which if you're switching multiple times, wastes a lot of time, and especially wastes a lot of mental energy. So doing your creation and batching, instead of going, well, I'll do posts now and then I'll do video later, and then maybe I'll come back and do, an email, is really going to help you with your focus, as well as, again, getting it done instead of jumping in and starting 5 different cakes and not finishing any of them.
Well, and content creation is a great one for that. If you think about your video, if you can do it all at once, instead of I'm going to do this video, or I'm going to write a script, and then I'm going to do the video, and then I'm going to post the video. Okay, you got something done, but you got one thing done. Right? Whereas if you just do a whole whack of them at once, now you have all that content that you just need to decide where you're going to schedule. You can do some writing or whatever, but it really helps you get a little bit more done. And then there's energy mapping. And this is something that is kind of underrated, right? Your brain does work in cycles. Most people have that, the highs and lows of where they're going to be focusing, and it's usually like 90 to 120 minutes, 90 minutes to 2 hours. So your schedule should sort of work around your energy. So high energy tasks will be things like writing, strategy, product creation, because it's requiring a lot of that mental energy. Lower energy tasks would be a little more like getting your emails set up, admin, scheduling. You're not necessarily writing the emails, you're just prepping the emails. So those are the things that they're more rote tasks. And so they don't require as much mental energy to do. It's the difference between writing the book and binding the book, right?
And really understanding what your circadian rhythm is and where those highs and lows is going to be super, super helpful, right? Because everyone becomes like, they're on the verge of being a millionaire, and they're like, okay, cool, I got to get up at 5 a.m. I got to be at the gym at 5:30. I got to do all this stuff, right? But if you look at the lifestyles of most billionaires, they get up when they get up. There's no alarm clock that's telling them when to get up. They are relying on their body to tell them, hey, you're rested, let's get to work. And then they're scheduling their day appropriately according to, maybe they go to the gym in the afternoon because that's when their body is most ready for it. That's when their brain is most ready for it. Maybe their brain's not really active until 10 o'clock in the morning. And so morning time is just spent doing meditation or self-care or whatever. So it's really, really important that people understand that, instead of just setting the alarm and being like, well, I'm going to be up at 5, so I'm going to be up at 5, and I'm going to be tired the rest of the day, but it's fine because the millionaires told me to be up at 5.
Well, yeah. And I mean, you do see a lot of people, especially those who are very committed physically, being up really early, and that's great for them. But if that's not your rhythm, you can still follow the program, but have it suit your own rhythm. Because if you try to force yourself to be something you're not, you will burn out. And that's for everything, always. You will burn out. So.
I mean, of course, automation, which we touched on a little bit earlier. If you're doing something more than twice, look at it and be like, okay, can this be automated, right? And that could be as simple as, again, scheduling your content instead of posting it manually. It can be your email sequences. So you write that 15 campaign email sequence all in one day, and then your autoresponder will just send it out according to your rules. Your analytics reports, a lot of these can be animated, and they'll even email it to you at the end of the day or at the end of the week. And even your lead nurturing, right? You can automate a lot of that. Automation frees time for strategy and creativity by taking away the mundane tasks that are still important, but don't necessarily need to have mental energy devoted to it every day.
And that's the whole point of automation, right? Is to help free you up to do the other stuff that cannot be automated. I will say things about lead nurturing, just simply don't forget that you do need a personal touch there as well. So even if you are using automation, keep an eye on it, because it's important to be a person on that other end as well. And then create some buffer blocks, like I mentioned earlier, right? Real life does happen. Campaigns break, platforms glitch, clients panic. So make sure you build some buffer time between your tasks. That way it prevents your whole day from just going kablooey. You don't want one thing to derail everything. So make sure you give yourself time for the what ifs and the crazy things that might happen, and also just time to reset if you need it. If you've had a morning and you need a break, then make sure that you're scheduling yourself time for those breaks. Make sure you're scheduling time to get up and walk around or go have something to eat. It's easy to get caught up in things and forget, and then you will feel it later. And that's the big thing.
There's lots of different ways that you can do your schedule depending on where you're at in the process, what your daily job looks like. We say 9 to 5, but let's be honest, most people don't work 9 to 5. They work 9 to 6 or 9 to 9 or something like that. You know, you can block it out however you want. Maybe Mondays is blog and social posts, and then Tuesday you focus on audience growth, so your SEO and your outreach. And then maybe Wednesday you look at your funnel and your affiliate promotions. Thursday's data, which we love data. And then maybe Friday you're looking at your systems, right? And that'll work when you're starting out. Now, as you progress and you're getting more of that automation going, you're getting more of the money coming in, you know, you can put those into a 3-day work week, or eventually even maybe a 1-day work week, or start outsourcing some of that. There's lots of different ways to structure it, but we're not here to tell you, oh, this is the way that every successful person does it. What we're saying is you have to tailor it to fit your lifestyle to avoid that 3-month death state.
Yeah. And even the 1 year, some people can hack it for a year and then they lose it because they've been struggling the whole time. That's why we always do suggest find mentors, find people that can help you with that process. The schedule that you just ran out, you're only focusing on 1 or 2 things a day, and it depends on you. It depends on what your needs are. We're all about you finding your rhythm. So the real productivity thing is, you don't want more hours, or you don't really need more hours. Well, maybe some of us do. I'm not going to say you don't, but you know, you need the hours to work on the right things. You don't need to work more hours. You need to work those hours that you have. Your schedule should reflect your revenue activities first, and then everything else second for your business. I make that clarity, that line clear, because your business and your personal life needs attention as well. So don't forego that just for your business. There has to be balance between the two of them as well, because your personal life is going to be around forever. So if you want your business to be around forever too, you got to make sure the two of those work well together.
Yeah, and if your main lead gen or your main income source is you're buying solo ads to go to your email list to then sell your offers that way, content's probably not that important to you right now. And that's fine, right? So again, these are just examples. There are many different ways to make money online. Content is just one of them, but there are many ways without creating any content. So again, tailor it to specifically how you are building your business.
The main focus here is really build that calendar in a way that works for you, because using your calendar instead of a to-do list is going to really help you structure that business. And when you need to take that meeting for yourself, maybe once a week, you actually schedule in your calendar a weekly recap for yourself on how the week's gone, where your issues were, what's working, what's not. And then that way, that's also part of your calendar to help keep you focused and motivated without taking over your life.
I think we covered it all.
All right. So if your marketing feels chaotic, again, don't try to work harder. Just fix your systems, because the most effective marketers don't just manage tasks. They design their time. And that goes with everybody. And eventually they hire it out to somebody else to handle that time.
Yep.
So once your schedule works for you, then you're going to see that your business gets a lot easier. Other than that, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye for now. That's it from us. If this episode helped you,
or at least entertained you,
go ahead and like, subscribe, and share.
We'll catch you next time.